The clock is racing away fairly fast. Before it strikes the hour, let's roll on over to a favorite segment of many of our viewers, and that's Chit Chat with Manoj. This is founded, hosted, and directed here by Mr. Manoj Singh, who is the CEO of Caesar Productions. In each session of Chit Chat with Manoj, Mr. Singh features a true-to-life aspect. What is his take this week? Let's find out together.
Welcome to Chit Chat with Manoj Singh. I'm Manoj Singh. Hello, Adab, Namaste. Today on our show, we are going to discuss get a perspective on interracial relationship or marriage. And joining me for this discussion today, on my right is Tejinder Singh, a White House correspondent, married to an American. Welcome, Tejinder. On my left, Puneet Alhuwalia. He's a managing partner at New World Strategies. Now, Puneet is married to a girl from Pakistan.
Afghanistan.
Oh, Afghanistan. Sorry, correction. So traditionally, as we all know in India or in our area, South Asia, parents in an arranged marriage look for similarities. They also say that the marriage is between two families and not just boy and the girl. They look for status. They look for how well-to-do the person is, or caste or religion, basically to make sure that the girl or the boy are comfortable in that home after marriage, and also to reduce the risk of failure, so that they are happy. But as we all know, a lot of people now in India itself and here have opted for interracial marriages. So we will have a discussion with Tejinder and Puneet. And now this issue is not a big of an issue for, I personally feel, the second generation, because it seems like they are more ingrained in the society here. So my first question to both of you, and maybe we'll start with Tejinder. You have an interracial marriage. What is your perspective? Any challenges?
Actually, the interracial marriage used to have a very big challenge, because in the US you couldn't have an interracial marriage before 1967 when it got legalized. And in my personal case, no, because for example, I have been introduced to some Hindi, Punjabi singers through my wife, and her background is, she's from Sweden, but they don't call them Swedish Americans, while we Indians always call ourselves the hyphenated Indian Americans. And that's the challenge, because as we become Americans, we should join the Americanization of ourselves. And on a personal basis, there hasn't been any challenges, because language, English has been there. I speak 9 languages, so it doesn't make a difference to me which language I am talking to whom.
Interesting. What about Puneet?
Any marriage is a challenge. Either it's between racial, religion, culture. Any marriage is a challenge because they're two individuals coming together, set in their ways, and getting to spend the rest of their life. But importantly, if you two are very compatible in terms of your mindset, goals, and your friends and companions, I think things tend to get easier. And I feel life is a jolly good ride, and you might as well enjoy and drink till the last drop.
I totally agree with you. Coming back to Tejinder, now, are there times like, if suppose, just a hypothetical, you're married to our own from India or something, do you miss, like, for example, watching a Hindi movie together, or language or religion is a barrier, or, or some other issues like normally you don't feel like you want to have Indian food today or pickle with it or something, and then you realize that I have to make sure that even my partner likes it.
I actually came to the US 5 years ago, and before that, for years, I was in Europe, and where I was 10 years in Greece. I was, before I came, around 5 years in Brussels, Belgium, Switzerland, Germany. And these places did not have, and I did not mix with the so-called, the Indian diaspora. And so I was very much open to anything. So, and another thing, as Puneet said, it's a challenge. It's a give and take. It's a kind of where you respect the other person. You don't have to have like because what I'm going in last 5 years, the number of complaints that have come to me about domestic violence among Indian American settled marriages is just mind blowing. And I have put them in touch with the authorities. The Indian girl gets married, comes here, doesn't know a thing about her rights. Like just last week, one Indian girl, she has become an American citizen, and she is still struggling. So I think interracial marriages are basically love marriages, because once you say yes to a love marriage, it's nothing to do with racial or interracial.
Okay, very good points. Now, I know I had an intercaste marriage, not interracial, and a lot of my cousins have done the same. And more I'm seeing in the second generation more interracial marriages. I think both, like Tejinder just mentioned, there's a lot of compromise, I think, and in the cases where these marriages have happened, I've seen they're successful because they have an open mind. They practice each other's religion. They don't mind celebrating the events together. Now, I have a question for both of you. Does it got to do with education, how educated you are, or even how much you've gone around the world and have had a good exposure that you are more comfortable in an interracial marriage?
Go ahead. I think education plays a very important role, and the environment you grow up, and specifically the moderation outlook of your family matters. As you said, your family has gone and has had interracial marriages. I think in the society you grow up in, and if you look at Bollywood, which is again, you have so many intercaste, interreligious marriages that take place. So I think as the world melts and the population gets more educated, you feel that there's a lot of mixture that takes place. If you look at one case in point, in the United States itself, people used to marry on the Irish or the Italians or the Greeks. But now, few generations down the road, everything is very mixed. And that's what we can expect for the Indian Americans, or as my friend Tejinder says, Americans. You'll be seeing more of the South Asian mixing together, and you'll have a very healthy melting pot.
On the education point, it always reminds me of a couplet I had read in school. Pothi pad pad jagmua, pandit bhaya na koe, ढाई आखर प्रेम का पढ़े सो पंडित होए.
That's a good one.
It's so simple, like that love. It's a love that rules the heart and rules the interracial or any marriages which are not arranged.
I agree. Totally agree with you. Getting to the next point, to our children now, coming to our children, is there an identity crisis, or how do you name them? Is there an issue with that? Or again, we are very open to it. A lot of people, what I've seen nowadays are doing is they keep both names. Either the middle name would be hers or her family's name, and then the last name ours or something. It's not maybe an issue. Do you have any such issues? Or
luckily, not luckily is a word, but we don't have any kids which are through our relationship. We do have a dog, which is Louis, which is French. But more importantly, I see that there would be an issue because there's always family pressure, peer pressure. When everybody comes, we all tend to gravitate towards our foundation or our religion. And that's where everything kind of stems from. But if two mature people are able to sit across the aisle and say, look, either you say Ram or Rahim, It all depends in your outlook and the way you intend to groom your child. And luckily for our kids, we have got a very healthy and a very open environment where we discuss religion, we talk about political issues, we talk about very key conservative issues, because we live in a Christian country. My kids are surrounded by all Christian schools, Christian kids, and the best thing is they have the best of all the worlds. They get to know the Sikhism, they get to know about Christianity, they get to know about the Muslim religion, they also get to know about the Hindu religion, and importantly also my Jewish friends. So I think it's such a great environment for these kids to be better citizens of tomorrow.
Yes, I agree with Puneet. I mean, I think our kids are very lucky to be brought up in America. Like he mentioned, in DC area, we have such a secular environment. People from all phases of life, countries, religion, and they get exposure to all of that. And I think schools are doing a good job of teaching diversity and even corporations. Any point you would like to make, Tejinder?
There are a lot of neutral names, and also in the US, this is not a problem because you can just go and file an affidavit and change your name. There are a lot of people who keep changing their names.
You know, like Puneet mentioned, I think this was 2 or 3 years back, Time magazine had predicted how US was changing, and I think it's got a lot to do with what you mentioned, that the minority population is increasing, and so is the interracial marriages. In fact, now I believe, maybe I'm wrong, correct me, Puneet, that Hispanic population is more than the blacks. And very soon in 2025 or something, the joint minority population will be more than white. And the trend of interracial marriage is going up. And in 100 years, in fact, they were predicting that we might all look a little bit dark as Egyptians or something like that because of the nature of the interracial marriage.
And you're very correct. You have to realize the immigration issue, which is such an important issue now, stemming from that, is that most of the immigrants from the Hispanic culture who have come here, they got married, now they're citizens, their wife and family are citizens, so it's an issue that really cannot be addressed. But more importantly, as you said, the future of our nation is strong as we all kind of blend together and make a great coffee shake. So.
Yep. So I think we are running out of time. It was a very good conversation. Any recommendations for a happy interracial relationship or marriage, both of you?
If you love somebody, don't look at the skin color, the shape of the eyes, just love. And if you feel like marrying, just go ahead and marry. Because half the life you will be saying, I should have done this, I should do this, I should do this. And the rest, next half of the life, you will keep saying that, oh, I should have done that, I should have done that. So just do it.
Good
I
point.
would say, ye zindagi na milegi dobara. So what you have to do is just live it to the fullest, follow your heart, follow your dreams, and you live in a great nation where you can achieve it all.
Very good advice from both of you. Thank you for coming on the show. And like I always say towards the end, life is short, be happy, have fun. Goodbye, and all the best.